Hey y'all, my name is Briley Casanova and I am a certified mental performance consultant, or CMPC for short. Today is a bit of a sad day. I lost someone very important to me. His name is Greg Harden, and I may or may not have mentioned him or talked about him in a pep talk before, which if I didn't, that's an extreme oversight on my part if I missed that. And I think in order to contain my thoughts and emotions a little bit better, I'm gonna try to stick to my script today. Thank you for understanding that. It's really hard for me to talk about Greg without shedding a tear or crying. So I just want to put that out there for this particular episode. I want to take this opportunity to share how much Greg meant to me and the lessons I learned from him. It's important to me to highlight his wisdom and share his legacy with others, as he taught me to, even in his death. Something to note about our relationship is that on the surface, we actually could not be more opposite. It's kind of crazy. Looking back, I don't think I realized the little bit of humor behind how different we were on the surface. So him being a lean, tall black man and myself being a short, muscular white girl. Imagine looking at us standing next to each other. You would not automatically assume that we would get along, but it was our differences that I saw a huge amount of value in. I needed someone wiser, more experienced, and more knowledgeable than me during my time in college at the University of Michigan, and Greg gave me zero judgment from the moment that I met him. He was exactly what I needed in a person during my time in college. So here are some of the things that I learned from him. This is a direct quote from his book, but he taught me this lesson back when I used to work with him. He said, decide that your life is going to be great with or without sports. And in other words, do not overly identify with just one thing. You are more than just an athlete. There's a reason why I was a student athlete. The student part comes first. However, I'm also a daughter, a woman, an employee, a Christian, a friend, a mentor, a mental coach, a sister. There is and always was more to me than just what I did. Gymnastics was what I did. Mental coaching is what I do now. And Greg taught me that I'm also more than just those things. I'm more than what I do. And in fact, I'm Briley Casanova, and there's only one of me in the whole world. And I want to share with you that there is only one of you in the whole world. Success is rare, and so are you. He explicitly asked me who I was when I met him, and it took me a minute to really understand the true depth behind that question. I don't think I fully understood the weight that that question and the weight of that question and the meaning that I needed to give it. I learned to realize that I was bigger than my body. I was bigger than my gymnastics, and again, I was bigger than what I did. I think another takeaway is to know who you are and what you want to be about, and how to apply that is to write down exactly what kind of person you want to be and take one action step towards one of those traits this week. That's something I encourage you to do. Another lesson from Greg was to be grateful for what you have, and specifically having an abundance mindset as opposed to a mindset focused on what we lack. That's something that Greg specifically taught me to flex the gratitude muscle every single day. Try to find at least one thing that you can appreciate or be grateful for, but 3 things are better. Again, write them down, hold those things tight and close to you and never let them go. Once you find one thing to be grateful for, it's a lot easier to come up with more things. So that lesson has changed my life, and I'm really grateful that Greg highlighted that to me, especially during a very difficult time in my athletic journey. Next lesson is to just listen, don't judge. And this isn't something that Greg explicitly told me to do. It's just something that I observed him do for me. There are multiple ways to personal and professional and athletic success. And I learned that all because Greg simply listened to me. So I know that's a simple lesson, but it's so easily forgotten in a chaotic world and when there's so much demanded of us today, you know. Next lesson that I want to share with you, and it's just truly the lesson of perseverance. Do not quit. Don't quit when it's not the right time. Greg taught me to persevere until the job is done. And how I got there was he showed me the video of when Carrie Strug clinched gold for Team USA at the Atlanta Olympics all those years ago. I took that session as my problems just simply being different, but also just as valid. In other words, I may not be able to vault on a broken ankle, but I can get through tomorrow. So something else I've been thinking about related to that was I may not have been the greatest or most popular gymnast on the team back then, but I was the greatest for the team by being myself, my flaws and everything included. I mean, my team needed me, and overall the team was bigger than just my burdens to carry. We worked together to carry everybody's burdens. I had others to help, carry the load towards winning. And, I look back on that video, and Carrie Strug, she was the one who literally carried the burden for her team, so they didn't have to. And I think they paid her back by physically getting her to the podium. They lifted her up, they carried her up there, they wouldn't go up there without her. I think another lesson to take away from that is to simply surround yourself with people who would do that for you and who you would do that for. Carrie Strug did that, so future gymnasts and the athletes of now don't have to. We all have our roles in life, but we have more than that too. And I think Greg would say the same thing. And I think that's why he showed me that video all those years ago when we spoke and worked together. Last couple of just lessons here from Greg is seek the nugget of truth. There is a nugget of truth in every interaction that you have every day. Seek it out, even if it means looking a little bit harder than expected. And the last lesson that I've learned from Greg is even in death, it's about our legacy. Our legacy is important. It's not just what we do, it is who we are. And I think I can honestly say I loved Greg for who he was, not just what he did for me or what he said to me. I loved him because he made me feel seen, acknowledged, and valued, and I think we could all use a little bit more of that. Just a couple more things I want to say is 75 years on Earth is just not enough. It's never enough, I think. I just want to be the person that he was to me. I want to be that for other people. That's why I do what I do now. I hope I'm proving that I'm getting closer to that every single day. And I wish I got to tell him how truly proud I was of how far I came and how much he impacted me. And I think I have reached out in the past a couple times, and I don't remember there being like a back and forth or anything. And I think that's why I just needed to put this out into the universe. I hope, Greg, you can hear me from heaven, because I know you're up there. And looking back, he's impacted so many people that I know maybe he doesn't even remember me. Like, I'm probably just one of hundreds, thousands of athletes that he worked with, but I remember him. I will always remember him and how he made me feel. I may not remember every word he said to me, but I remember the feelings that he gave me and the way he made me feel just like it was yesterday. So I think a note to end on, oh goodness, I wish I had it with me. I know I brought it out the other day. Anyway, I'm looking for Greg's book. I think the last thing I want to say on that note is just please buy Greg Harden's book. It would really mean a lot to me, and I'm sure it would mean a lot to his family. it's, I think, the last tangible thing that we have to learn from Greg's legacy. I hope you can enjoy it and continue Greg's success for the sake of his family. They truly deserve it. Greg deserves it. And I think the last thing I want to shout out and say is I've been reached out to by many of my friends, family. I've put out a video on my social media prior to this podcast episode going up about this topic, and I have just been given a huge outpouring of support. Many people have bought his book already since I have, put it out there that I would just urge people to do that. And I've also been sent a little patch from John Leopold. He is the stormtrooper, the University of Michigan stormtrooper. I just think that's a really cool GH patch that I will keep here in my office. It's very lovely, and of course it's maize and blue, so thank you, John. You've just been wonderful, and I really appreciate you. You've really lifted me up and have always been a support person for me throughout my time at Michigan. So again, I just want to shout you out and say thank you. Thank you for sending me that, and thank you to those of you who have already bought his book. It just really means a lot to me to continue to honor Greg and his legacy, his lessons. I really don't know what else to say, and I just happened to look over here. I'll show you what the book looks like, in case you are watching this on camera and not just listening. Here's the book. It's wonderful. As you can see, I have a ton of sticky notes and things that I've bookmarked and documented and wanted to just save, but I guess I'll just end it here, and I guess I'll just say, just thank you for listening. I hope you check out my social media platforms with my contact information. I've now consolidated all of my links, to one link tree. Greg's book is also linked below. I have nothing to gain from you buying it other than just a little bit of joy, a little bit of satisfaction. I'm not being paid or promoted to, or I'm not being paid to promote his book. Again, it would just mean a great deal to me on a personal level. Greg, he was a true mentor to me. He got me through very difficult times. I would be a very different Briley today if it were not for him. I would not be in the profession that I am in. I think that it's important to honor the people that mean a lot to us. And again, I don't even know if Greg really remembers me or anything, but it's the least I can do to share what I remember about him. So thank you again for listening. I'll let you go. Take care.